My name is Jo and I'm the founder of NaviStar Legal, and today I have Peter Swead. Welcome, Peter. How are you?
I am good, Jo. How are you?
Great, good. He's the founder of Paramount, and he is here to talk to us today about his business, about things that are important to him within business, and some of the laws of business that you can only learn. I feel like these are laws we only learn when we're actually doing the thing. They're not things that you can learn in a book. They're things that you're like, of course I know that, until you actually get face to face with them, and then you're like, oh, this is not as easy as it seems. With that, I'll just ask Peter to give a bit of a background. Tell us, Peter, how did you get into what you do? What do you do? What does Paramount do? What do you exist to do?
Okay, what Paramount does is it generates sales leads for SMEs with 3 to 30 office-based staff. That's my target market. Purely sales leads. How did I get into it? Through a very circuitous route. When a friend of mine, when an ex-employee at another company asked me to do some market strategy for them, I did said market strategy, and it went very well, even though his employees were French, very urbane, sophisticated types of people. They were selling robotic systems for £1 million, £2 million. And I thought, well, that went well. Let's make a business of it. You know, I had nothing to do at the time. I just sold a business. So I started advertising for that service of marketing strategy for big companies with something called Google Ads and a website. I had an address in Mayfair. You know, £100 a week it cost me, or something like that. And blow me, it worked. You know, I had major clients, Eon, Caterpillar, Lloyds Bank, at board level, and I was helping with their marketing strategy. Unfortunately, 2008 came along, and unfortunately, Lloyds Bank effectively went bankrupt. Caterpillar lost 35,000 staff, people placing more orders in the morning, cancelling in the afternoon, blah, blah. So there was I doing absolutely nothing yet again, and one of my friends turned around and said, you got all this work from Google Ads, can you help some of my clients? So I then started a business using the skills I already learned to use AdWords for some of their accounts. And then...
So these are smaller businesses. You've gone
smaller,
from
yeah, they're very,
down to the smaller business, right?
Yeah, they started with small business. I had some quite large sort of multi-billion pound businesses as clients as well. But that was, what I found with them is that the politics were such that I couldn't do my job. Google Ads can only work if the target website is good. Well, the first time I saw this particular client's website, it took me an hour and a half to place an order. And the website was so funky and functional and super cool that I couldn't work out how the menu system worked. Right. And they wouldn't change it. So I rang up the marketing director and said, how does your menu system work? Anyway, I worked with them for a couple of years and it became a good case study. But my core market's always been small businesses, because I can speak to the owner of the business and say, you need to do this. And there are no IT people saying, or brand people saying, you can't do that because ... So I just... Yeah.
How's that transition from the corporate world to the SME world?
It's much easier. I'm not good at politics. I want what I do to work. And I get very frustrated when people say you can't do this because it's against our brand values, or because that's the way we like it, or because it's got to go through X processes.
That's the way we've always done things.
Oh, funny think that. Yeah.
That's the way we've always done things. And
yeah.
But we wanted different results. If you could get us a different result, but this is the way we've always done
it. But, so the problem with AdWords is that it can work brilliantly if you have a good website. So I then got into building websites, but I found some really amazing guys in India, and they do my website builds for me. And then you find that the websites don't work because their marketing is rubbish. So I've then come back to the marketing strategy and the whole thing. You know, 80% of the leads that sales inquiries that cross my desk, I don't touch because I could just know they're not going to work. You know, last week I had somebody that sold basically a water filter. It costs £10, this water filter, and they wanted to sell it on their website. That's great. Okay, lovely. How many will they have to sell to make any money from this? How much would they have to spend generating a sales lead to get the £10 back? I don't know the number for that, but it's such a high. I do know it's such a high number. I've just basically told them, don't bother. And I get a lot of those. You know, people selling. I had somebody last week who had some sort of process that came from Harvard Business School, and he said to him, "Okay, this is what I do, but it's not about what you do; it's how you help." And proving that your wonderful process can actually help somebody in the UK. It's just not going to work. People are very cynical, especially in the UK. It's not the States, and you have to get over that wall of cynicism. And
there's
just
a
to say,
pre-sell, isn't there? There's always a pre-sell of this is not just this is valuable. There's something more. There's a whole of jumping through hoops you've got to do.
Yeah, it's more than that. You have to be able to prove. You have to say what you do. It's not how clever you are. You have to say what you do, and then prove you can do what you do in 5 seconds. That's what a website does. The rest is mush.
Right, great. I mean, I have this conversation I have been having this conversation with my team for a long time about websites and how important they are. And I'm like, unless they, and we have the same view for different reasons, but my view is, unless it's for something, there's got to be something that it's worthwhile putting in place for. Otherwise, it's just a brochure online. And I don't know. Well, go on then. Say no.
No, absolutely, totally. There are 2 views of websites. A website is a brochure and has to look nice, and that's what graphic designers do believe. Right. My view of a website is the most powerful. It can be the most powerful marketing machine in the planet.
Yeah. Right.
If you get it wrong, all that will happen is you'll transfer all your pounds, shillings, and pence to our friends in Google and Facebook.
Yeah.
So you have to get it right. You have to say. They have to say what makes you special. Why should somebody use you? What are your benefits? In what way are you credible? Yeah. Prove to me.
That's always an easy question to answer, and there could be. In 5 seconds, it's not always an easy question to answer, is it?
It's normally a very difficult question to answer, actually. And but the ways of doing it are case studies, reviews on Google, reviews on Facebook, Trustpilot. There's a million ways of doing it, LinkedIn, all that sort of stuff. But the example I would give is that if I had a 500 carat diamond on my desk and I put it on my website for £500, how many people buy it? The answer is nobody, because they wouldn't believe me. I'm not credible at selling that product. If it was Asprays, it would go by within about a 1/10 of a second. So not only have you got to be able to produce this service, you've got to prove that you can do the service that you say you can. Because we're a cynical bunch, and rightfully so. Because
yeah. Great. Well, talk to me a little bit about when we talked earlier. We were talking about values, and you were saying tell me about values in business, how important they are. What are your values in business, and when have you come up against kind of values clash? Because it sounds like, and I know one thing about you, I'd say you've got a very dry sense of humor and you're very direct. Like you'll be like, no, I can imagine you telling people about that. It's like, no, this is not going to work. Right, moving on. So,
well, I do tell people it's not going to work because there's no point wasting my time. I engage with clients on a 90-day basis, and only if it works on a 90-day basis do they keep me going. So I'm not going to spend thousands of pounds on my time only for it to be a total waste of time. Right. So I'm direct because I think it's important not to pussyfoot about.
It's like the tough love early doors, and I'd say that was kind of one of your values. I mean, they say it's like what Values are what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's what I would say about you. You're very direct and you've got a great sense of humor. Your sense of humor is so dry. But
you poor soul. If you think I've got a sense of humor, don't ask my kids. They will not agree with me. Anyway, coming on to values.
Values in business.
I tell you, I talk directly to people. I say what the numbers say. And if the numbers say that the answer is it will work, I will tell them it will work. And this is what the cost per lead will be and how many leads you'll get and all that. What are my values? My values are, straight talking. My values are honesty. It's very easy within this community, what I do, digital marketing, to give people information that they think is impressive, and it can very easily be total rubbish.
False hope. A little bit of false hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I just tell people how it is, and what I enjoy is sorting stuff out. And I once described it as doing a Rubik's Cube. You align people's marketing with their website, Google Ads, and it suddenly goes click, and you have a solution, and it works. And that's, I don't know if that's and I enjoy that. And I enjoy working with people who are very results orientated. I don't know I can't think of what my values are, apart from that, to be honest with you. I've lost you. I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case, because it feels like if your values were what you say, that's what I would say. You're very direct. You've got a sense of humor with it, but you're very direct, and it's like, no, that's not going to work. And agreed, like not wasting time on things that are not going to work is absolutely a good reason for, even though you want it to work and be like, oh yeah, this looks amazing, this is great. No, not going to work. So we were talking about coaching, mentoring. Do you have a coach, a mentor, or?
I don't at the moment, but I've had two coaches in my life, two really good coaches in my life, one for business and one for personal. I was on the Growth Accelerator program.
Oh yeah.
I was given a coach, and he was a social media person, and he had a hammer, and every problem was a nail. It was as simple as that. And I lost respect for him. I got somebody else who doubled the turnover of my business within a year.
Wow.
Because he got me to appreciate, there's a whole lot of stuff I would give to people that was for free, because I wanted them to do stuff, and they valued it free. And then you start giving the stuff people at nominal, a few £1,000s, people sort of, woke up and took real notice of it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, because that took a while to get together, I decided to get myself a life coach. And I went to him, a guy called Nick Heap, brilliant guy. And I said, I want to be more charismatic. But he listened to me, and he kept listening. And of course, the charismatic bit failed. But then we got talking. And I was saying some of the problems I had. And he gave me this. I was talking about one particular customer who was a mini Donald Trump figure, and very arrogant, very rude, always knocking what I did. And, if I said the answer was 10, he'd say it was 1. I go, but this, but that. He'd go 9.9, 1.1, you have this thing. And he just he said, tell it like it is. And so tell him how you feel. You can argue about numbers and facts all day, every day. He can't argue about how you make it feel. So at the end of this, so I went away, and I told this very successful businessman that I said, I feel like you're trying to bully me. Huge explosion. Couldn't sit down at the table, bright red face. And furthermore, I'm doubling my prices. And I want confirmation of such by this date and time. And what was interesting is that, he tried to say we couldn't afford it. Just ignored it. Just was so angry with him. And the most bizarre thing about it is that he agreed, he agreed to doubling prices. And ever since, this has been as nice as pie to me. He pays my bills on time. Sorry, I'm a sort of logical guy, or I think I am. My wife would disagree, but I think I'm a logical sort of guy. And this just did not, I don't understand what the hell's going on. I don't understand. I'm not a people person. Yeah. But it was, that one piece of advice, it was, it saved me, or created for me, thousands of pounds of additional revenue. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I know that coaching coaching it can be incredibly powerful.
Just that one question, that's really remarkable. But this was on the life coaching side of things, not on the business side of things.
No,
right?
absolutely. Okay, yeah. And he also taught me on the life coaching side is how to talk to yourself. And I don't know if any of you dear readers or dear viewers have been there, but there was this it's very easy to talk to yourself saying, you come away from a meeting, it's all gone disastrously wrong. And you think, you have all these negative thoughts, and this person on this shoulder over here or over here is saying, you this, you that, you should have done this, you should have done that, constantly. And what he got to do was to think of, replace this enemy on my shoulder with my best friend, and say, okay, what would your best friend say?
Amazing. And
so, let's say something that's gone to, the archetypal meeting where everything goes wrong. He'd say, he'd say, what were your best friends? Life's like that. You get idiots. You get things where the projector won't work, but that wasn't your fault. You get things where the guy said what you said, took it the wrong way, or that's, there are things that you can do. You've done your bit. Okay, you might have made some sort of slip up, but you're human. And he got me to think about this and it took about 5 or 6 weeks before this to trigger. You just change the way you think. So you have a negative thought in your head, you reverse it, and you think, what would your best friend say? What a powerful question. What a powerful question. 1,500 quid later, Nick, that.
There you go, guys. That's £1,500 worth of guidance.
Absolutely. Joe provides great value, doesn't she?
But still, that's good information. I'm going to use that. In fact, I'm going to write it on the front of my book, which is where all my key piece of wisdom go.
Okay. Nick is sensational. I'll give you the details later. But, yeah. And he publishes all this stuff on his website, so I could have read it beforehand. But that's another matter.
But it's never quite the same, is it? When you read it beforehand, you're not quite sure it applies to you. And then when somebody says to you, like, oh, yeah, that is what I'm doing. Yeah. I mean, I find it really helps having somebody external to me, just giving me, even if it's just giving me a pat on the back, like, yeah, well done. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thanks very much.
Yeah, I think the power dynamics between us and the States were all, in the States we think of them crazy because they're so positive. Yeah. And here, it's the culture is to be negative. And be negative
and focus on how things are not going well. Yeah, absolutely. Would you ever go back to being employed?
Never. I'm unemployable, frankly. Who on earth would employ me? I'm wrong in age and all the rest of it. But if somebody came along with an amazing job, I'd look at it. But I took 6 weeks holiday last year, 7 weeks or something ridiculous, and I just gave it all the stuff to my guys in India, and it just works. So that in a big business, if something goes wrong, you probably don't hear about it until your head's been chopped off. Whereas I know exactly what's happening in my business. You know who's going to cancel on you before they've cancelled, because even I can read that sort of mood music.
Yeah.
And I'm not a politics person. I'd love the bigger business. What I'd love is the bigger conceptual challenges I get turned on by analysis and data and implications and all that sort of stuff.
It's a lot easier to do things like that when you've got a big financial backing, I imagine. It's like you can really only do that with millions at your disposal, but
Yeah.
even then you end up, I guess, managing people, don't you? Which is not quite what
Yeah, I mean,
data analysis, and that won't be what you'll get to do.
Yeah, I mean, if NASA gave me a job saying, okay, where should we be a century from now? It would be, you know, it'd be my dream job, absolutely. But it's supposed to be very political. But.
You said you sold your business. So what happened? How did you sold a business before this one?
Yeah.
Before Paramount. What happened? What was your experience, and why did you sell?
I sold because it was in the we were selling. I have to be very diplomatic here.
I love it. There's a story behind it.
There's a big. I got stitched up for £1.5 million. How about that as a story?
Wow.
But we were selling some bit of software, and that went into an ERP system, so the accounting system, call it that way. And we worked with this big American software vendor who shall remain nameless, and we helped them sell a 25 million, 35 million pound system, something of that order. And having helped them sell it, they then turned around and said, you can't use my company to do this magic bit because we were too small. We've been in the sales cycle with this client for 2 years.
Right.
They cut us out at board level, and I just thought I would have sold it for £1. I didn't sell it for that much more than £1, but I just wanted to get out. I know that you can do stuff legally, maybe, but these companies are so big and so all powerful that I'm not gonna. I have used lawyers to sue people in the past, and I have bankrupted people and bankrupted companies, and discovered it's a total Pyrrhic victory.
It's Pyrrhic victory. That's exactly that. There's something about taking the action on it, isn't there? But you get to the end, and you're like, am I actually further forward here? Is this actually taking me to what I wanted? Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're effectively sort of mugged at gunpoint, you tend to react, and that's what somebody took something that was mine and was very valuable, and I then reacted because I had to. But in reality, there was no right answer. You know.
There's the pragmatic. Okay, this is the best we can do right now, and actually, the stress of it is probably too much to deal with.
Maybe I should have sued them and just. I don't know. You can't let somebody walk away with something, but you can't. But once you bankrupted them, what's the point? And they come up the next day. You know, that's life.
Yeah.
Do I sue them again and again?
Well, what would you do? Okay, what lessons would you have for anybody that's in a similar situation?
Okay, the lessons I would have is that...
Regardless of that situation, I mean, just...
No. I learned a lot from it. And what I learned was quite interesting. Basically, this person I had in a watertight contract. Okay. But I never trusted him. And in fact, the contracts are irrelevant. It's the trust. You know, if you have to go to contract, forget it. It's already lost, and I shouldn't have used him. Whatever. Whether I mean, it could have been. Basically, he got waylaid by some other people who were deeply. Let's say had very poor business practices, and he got carried along to weak character. That he was technically brilliant, but that's life. You know, there isn't the legal system. Effectively, it doesn't really work for small companies in the UK. Yeah, in my humble opinion. You lawyers might think differently. I don't know. I don't think differently. It's why I set out. I think it absolutely doesn't work for the small business community. I think. Because, and mostly because of the power dynamic. Because when you say to me, well, you know, big companies looking to, there's just nothing you can do. There's the power dynamic, the finances, and the ability to do anything is too
is too vast. I mean, yes, of course, can you, David and Goliath situation? Absolutely, you could take it on. But is it going to benefit you by doing so? Probably not. And you're right, you do. That's where, I guess that's probably why you're so emboldened or passionate about values and how important values are, because that's probably born out of this situation.
Yeah, who knows? I can't analyze it enough to tell you.
No, but that's powerful. Well, yeah, it sounds like, so, okay, what are the lessons did you learn there? It's like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's in a similar position nowadays?
I think trust your instinct about that person, but I also think that if you have to make a change, make it fast. Just do it, and if you have to make the change, do it and don't prevaricate. The more you prevaricate, the worse it gets.
Speed.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shitstorm. You may as well get the shitstorm over fast than later. It never gets better. It will just get even worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I always say that. So the trust point, I have a strange way of looking at risks in contracts, and I say on a level of 1 to 4, what's your trust, and on the level of 1 to 4, what's the consequences. So if this goes wrong, is it going to be a tiny little thing, or is it going to be a really big important thing, and how much do you trust that person? And it has to be contextualized. The trust is contextualized. You might trust your wife to oh god, that was about to sound really to cook the dinner and edit. No, not cut the dinner. You may trust your wife to do what she says she's going to do on a daily basis, whatever that thing is. She says she's going to buy something, it gets bought. Or work with you in business in a particular way, but you may not trust her to be your, and you trust her as a wife, but you may not trust her in certain other circumstances, business-wise. You may not have the understanding. And same with your a child of yours. You trust people in context, and if the trust level is 0, then you just cannot get into business with them. And I truly believe that. And unfortunately, it's not a question we ask ourselves enough, because we're off, the emotions high and the intelligence is low. We often kind of get run away with the decision. It's like, oh, this is great. And I encourage people to actually be in business with somebody 3 months, but that probably wouldn't have changed your view of the situation, because I imagine you were in business for a lot longer than that. Is that right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, so be in business for 3 months and actually see how somebody's operating, because when you see how they operate, and it's like the little sneaky things they do, that is the stuff that you want to look out for.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, good. Thank you for sharing your experience. Even and I think you, and I know you say every time I see you, like, I'm not got that sense of humor, but you do. You take things so lightly, and it's such a refreshing thing to see. It's so great to just reconnect with you, really. And I must have known you for years through Derry.
So know me is to love me, Joe.
Know you is to love me, exactly. So thank you for your guidance on trust and how to deal with bullies and mentoring and everything else that Paramark has explored and experienced over the last couple of months. Tell us, Peter, how can we get in contact with you? If I'm an SME who's got a really good proposition, is like, right, I know that I can nail this. How do you get in contact?
Email me, or have a look at my website, Paramark, which is Papa Alpha Romeo Alpha Monkey Alpha Romeo Quebec.com.
Great.
You'll find me.
Paramark.com. And I will put all your social media details at the end of this video, so you can just hold on and find the specific details there. If you've enjoyed this conversation, then please do subscribe down below. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Peter.